Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Entrepreneur TV Middle East. We're here at Kearney's booth, and with me is the one and only Zeeshan Khwaja. He's a senior partner at Kearney, and it's an absolute pleasure being with you here today. You're part of the financial sector, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's right.
So tell us a little bit about Kearney, about what's new in the sector, and why are you guys here in Saudi today?
Yeah, sure. Look, firstly, thank you for having us on, Mina. Really appreciate it. Watch your stuff all the time, so great to be on. Look, Kearney, this is the first year, it's the inaugural year for Money 2020, which is basically it's the place to be if you are, a fintech, you're in venture capital, you're in the financial services space and in the banking space. Last year, this was 24 Fintech. We were proudly as Kearney the only consulting partners. And with now it moving on to Money 2020, we retain that sort of title, if you like.
You guys are very active, yes.
Yeah, absolutely active.
That's
I mean,
great.
look, I think, if you look at now the next 10 years or the future of where financial services and banking is going, fintech is a core component of that. And, being a core part of that, building capabilities. And also, if you look at it from a region perspective as well, a lot of the global financial services is now moving its corridors across here to the Middle East. So we're super happy to be a part of this and just excited to kind of, do our part in the financial services world.
And you're the ones that write those frameworks, I think, for the rest of the world, right?
Yeah, some of my colleagues are more, guilty of that, if you like. But no, I mean, look, we do a lot of work with the global central banks in particular, a lot of work here in the Kingdom, in the UAE, in the region more broadly as well. And I think, look, if you look to see where some of the key regulation is really going, there's a lot of focus around payments. There's a lot of focus around what we're calling around open banking, open finance, and then more broadly, open economy.
Right.
So where the general trend is going is also about how regulation can be an enabler as opposed to just, policing and being a stick, if you like.
But at the same time, we have to keep security, right, under control and make sure that we know where our money's going and how safe it is, right?
Yeah.
How do you make sure to keep the best of both worlds?
Yeah, look, I think it's a great point, actually, because we're, as an industry, whether it's fintechs, the banks, and other investors, it's all about growth, innovation, new things, and you want to just keep on running, right? But as you quite rightly said, safety, security is absolutely key. And I think the central banks do a great job of that. Look, you'll hear His Excellency, Mr. Raymond Siari, who just in the opening note just now, talked about prudent innovation. So innovation and speed, yes, but making sure you're doing it with the right controls, the right checks, and doing it also in consultation with the banks and the key stakeholders involved, I think is a key component.
100%. Is AI a big part of it?
You know what? Honestly,
we could speak the whole day about it.
We could absolutely. I mean, it went from hype to not hype to, oh, this is just a bit of a fad to, oh my God, it's going to take my job, it's going to take over. AI is an absolute core component of that. And look, I think it plays its role in so many different areas within financial services and the broader, world, if you like.
100%.
But I think in financial services in particular, right now, it's really about identifying those use cases, because otherwise you can get completely overtaken with the word itself, right? And what it stands for. But identifying the right use cases, deploying that, getting some success and moving on is really the key way that banks in particular are enabling and embracing AI.
And do you actually get to see, all of these theories, let's say, that you guys point out to your clients, do you actually get to see the practical side to it eventually?
Yeah, look, I think from talking really specific now, the work we do a lot of work on the digital tech and on the banking, on the retail side in particular. When we have worked with our clients, especially on whether it's AI or whether it's specific use cases, we're not just about strategy. We're through looking at strategy all the way through to execution. So we'll be, working with the banks, working with stakeholders, seeing the results all the way through. Otherwise, it's just a bit of paper, and that's not really what we're about and an ethos that we stand for.
Exactly. And that's, I guess, what makes you different, right, from all the other consulting firms. So that's great.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That's great. So tell me one more thing. Obviously, you're here today. I've heard a lot about you guys doing your reports in finances, like together with the government. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure.
If it's no secret.
No. Look, I think no, it's not at all. Look, we've recently been working with one of the big central banks here on the fintech annual fintech report, amongst a few others, but one that I'm really proud of because some of the results that we are now seeing in the Kingdom. So fintechs, achieving the end sort of goal of having 530 plus fintechs. We're already at 281 fintechs to date which is a massive achievement.
It's crazy, yeah.
Also, there's an increase of 61% fintech jobs from last year as well, which is a big boost. And it's a great signal, right, to entrepreneurs, to people in this industry.
To attract people in.
To attract people in, exactly. And also from the West coming across to the East, that, this is the place to be.
This is the future and the present. And
exactly.
Everything. Amazing. I'm not going to hold you too long, but I have a couple of extra questions for you.
Sure.
Would you like to randomly pick them, or would you like to ask me?
I think you can pick them, Mina. I think
okay, perfect.
Go for it.
Knowing how difficult your job is, how do you handle fear of failure?
Look, I think this is one where a mentor really early on in my career basically said to me, look, and actually it was through something that happened at work, that look, it's okay to fail. And generally, I mean, it's a bit cliched sometimes, but it's generally okay to fail. And for me, I know at the end of the day, this is just a job. Yes, it has great impact in society, into the world, into families of all the people that we work with. At the end of the day, it's just a job. So really, you can take a step back and just enjoy the moment more than anything.
It's funny you say that, because a lot of times when I do ask men this specific question, they tell me that they get overconfident.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And they fight it with overconfidence.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see that you stay calm and you understand that it's part of the process.
And just to that point, I mean, you're absolutely right. In our profession, it's very easy to build egos and get overconfident. But I think you do definitely need to keep on
human.
Exactly. Be human. Take a step back.
100%.
Really carry on.
Up next, who's winning the AI race in your opinion? And I did ask other partners in Kearney this question on the FinTech Summit. Do you think it's startups or big tech?
Look, honestly, I think it's a collab between both. I think a lot of the fintech and the startups are going to end up becoming big tech very soon as well. And then there'll be a consolidation. So I think it's more for me about collaboration than anything, than one or the other. But I think both have merit in their own way. And look, and your guess or anyone else's guess is as good as mine, to be very honest.
Right, but I think it's just an era that we're all have to be under, and everybody has to make use of it at the end of the day, because we're going to be stuck if we're not. Like if you don't have AI in your business now,
absolutely,
you're already behind it.
You're already obsolete. Absolutely,
you're already behind. Yeah. Talking about AI, do you think it's going to take more jobs than it creates?
Honestly, I think it will take a lot of jobs, but jobs from a perspective of the kind of jobs we don't want the human race to do anyway going forwards. And we'll definitely create new jobs.
As long as I think we're training and educating the people, it's important, because if you're not educated, you fear it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've noticed that a lot of Europe fears AI just because they don't have enough education about it. Here we have the government, we're super supported by the ministries. It's a daily part of our lives, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've noticed, whenever you talk to somebody that's not from here, they look at AI as something that's going to take over the world, as something negative, which it shouldn't be, right?
Look, you've hit the nail on the head, actually. It's about education. I mean, we're fortunate in this region that you look at the UAE, the education ministries have released sort of mandatory AI modules in, grassroots level education.
Right.
That's going to be key going forward.
100%. It's always education. Let me do one more. Oh, this one's cool.
Yeah.
In 10 years' time, what do you think AI would replace? Maybe in like the finance sector.
Look, I think AI will definitely replace a lot of the work that is done, more the manual kind of work. I think what it won't, so a lot of the middle office, back office, operational type tasks and processes.
Data, things like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, but what it won't replace is, I think it's really important to understand, is it's the human touch and the relationship. So from a banking perspective, that, interaction between individuals, you cannot replace that. Even with super intelligence and AGI and all this great stuff, it will never replace.
Nothing we hate more than calling a robot and trying to argue with a robot when my credit card is blocked.
Exactly.
Oh man, inshallah. Last question for you.
Sure.
We are entrepreneur. What sort of advice would you give to young men and women out there that potentially want to become entrepreneurs or take your path one day and become a partner at a huge consulting firm? What sort of advice would you have for the young generations?
No, that's a great question. Look, I've got many, but I think the one that I would like to really put out there is, don't limit yourself. You are your worst enemy at most of the times. True. It's very easy to go into a big meeting or a big opportunity and just limit yourself because you think, oh, this person's thinking this or that or whatnot. Don't limit yourself. Possibilities are endless. And now in this world and in this kind of the current opportunity we have with AI and all the other technologies, it's a golden age to be, honestly. So just go out there, put yourself out there, and good luck.
The sky's the limit.
Exactly.
Great motivational speech. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you, Mina.
We wish you and Kearney the best of luck and to many more interviews. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye.